What a beautiful month January 2024 have been. Justice of 500 years, justice of 31 years, all has happened from Ram Mandir to recently yesterday Gyan Vapi Tehkhana, where the district court has allowed puja. It gave 7 days to the district administration to implement it, but Yogi Sarkar, with its usual speed for excellent execution, ensured it happened within 15 hours. And today, early morning, we had puja there in Gyanvapi. A puja stopped by Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh under the tenure of Samajwadi government. Took 31 years, but it is done. What a beautiful January month. But beautiful for some people. Other people are ranting against it. Mani Shankar Aiyar family, his daughter especially, the society in which she lives is finally fed up with it. So I will come to that issue, but I thought we should start with both Ram Mandir and the historic order in Gyanvapi, where finally a puja stopped, has resumed. Those of you joining for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. I told you I will do English videos with certain amount of frequency because there is a lot of demand by people who are living outside India as well as those living in the southern part of India that we do more videos in English so they also understand legal issues, civilizational issues, issues of seminal importance where you need the right, correct perspective, not the perspective peddled by the ecosystem. So, firstly, let me tell you what exactly happened. Now, Mani Shankar Aiyar is known for his problems with, you call it Pradhan Mantri Modi, or you can say his problem with Ram Mandir, or you can say his problem with the entire civilization which is awakening itself, which is asking for justice, which is trying to claim its rights. And this problem starts because there is a fundamental change in the government. What happened by courts is as per law, but governments have a massive role to play in Ram Mandir as well as in Gyanvapi. Because in Gyanvapi, the court gave 7 days time. Some other government, including Samajwadi, which is known for this, could have gone to court, could have gone itself to High Court in appeal and said that this will create a law and order situation. What does the High Court do? When the government comes and says there could be a law and order situation, and sometimes on ground, certain governments encourage law and order situation. They tell people to come out on the streets. They say police will not take action on them. They say subtly through their political leaders, burn a few buses so that by the time we go to court, we will say this is a massive law and order situation, and they frustrate the orders of the court by this method. That's the power of the unscrupulous governments in power. What does Yogi Adityanath do? He says, I will immediately implement it. Within 15 hours, he implemented the order for which the court had given 7 days of time. Why it's necessary? So that Times, New York Times, Post, the entire ecosystem cannot create a narrative that this order is going to destroy the secular fabric of India or create a law and order situation on ground. Now it's implemented. So fate accompli. And according to law, because it is after a court order. So this is the beauty of a government. That is why probably in 2014 or 2013 now or 14 early January, Mani Shankar Aiyar went on this rant against Prime Minister Modi, and the arrogance seeping in this rant, the frustration, the belief that we are the privileged lot. And privileged why? Because we are with the dynasty which can never be voted out. And for an elected chief minister of Gujarat, forget the elected chief minister of Gujarat, forget that he was the overwhelming favorite to be the prime minister. Even if you're an ordinary citizen of this country, should this level of arrogance against an ordinary citizen be used? Hear it.
मैं आपको वायदा करता हूं कि इस 21वीं सदी में नरेंद्र मोदी कभी भी देश के प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनेंगे। लेकिन यहां आकर चाय का वितरण करना चाहते हैं तो हम उनके लिए कुछ जगह बना रखते हैं।
He said 3 times Prime Minister Modi will not, Narendra Modi will not become the Prime Minister 3 times. Twice he has become. I think third time is going to happen in 2024, and that will be poetic sweet justice. But see the arrogance. Chai ka vitran means he can come and distribute tea in our Congress office. So he is basically an office boy. He is a staff. He is a peon. Nothing more than that. This you are saying for a chief minister of Gujarat. That time he was that. Can you say this even about an ordinary citizen, that the best you can do is be a tea distributor, tea seller, and serve us, the imperial majesty's chosen ones? That is the reality. But that was Mani Shankar Aiyar. Then, when Ram Mandir case was at its peak, he had these comments to make about Ram Mandir. It's a Hindi article which I will. He said there were 10,000 rooms in the palace. And which room was Lord Ram born that you want this exact spot? See, I would say the mocking. I will call mocking based in certain amount of frustration, or maybe it is certain amount of hatred. I don't know. But this level of mocking is not ordinary. There is something wrong somewhere. Now coming to his daughter, for which the RWA had to take action. You see what they wrote to the daughter. Miss Suryanya Aiyar, dear Mr. Aiyar and Miss Suranya Aiyar, you recently went on a rant on social media where you have kept a 3-day fast from 20th to 23rd January in protest of Ram Mandir consecration, with the statement like, first and foremost, as an expression of love and sorrow to my Muslim. No, why don't you hear her words herself? She does a 3-day fast against Ram Mandir. People are fasting that finally we get Ram Mandir, and she fasts against it. But then, with the father mocking it like that, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So here, the poisonous rant, what I call it.
Fellow travelers, with the forthcoming event in Ayodhya on January the 22nd, the atmosphere here in Delhi, already famous for being polluted in a material sense, has thickened to a spiritually poisonous and unbreathable concentrate of Hindu chauvinism, malice, and bullying. I am deeply anguished by all this as an Indian and as a Hindu.
Spiritually poisonous. See the words she is chosen. Spiritually poisonous. Everybody is feeling that finally the spiritual aspects of our civilization, finally the injustice done to our civilization, finally the victors' demolitions are being restored, reclaimed. And this is found as poisonous. And you compare it with the pollution in Delhi. See the imagery. You deliberately compare a thing in the way you feel. So with the pollution of Delhi, spiritual poisoning, that is why the people in the RW were up in arms. The 3-day fast also you need to hear, because you have to understand the depths to which this frustration lasted.
And after thinking hard about what I can do, I have decided to go on a fast starting tomorrow, Saturday the 20th, and ending on Tuesday the 23rd, a day after the January 22nd production at Ayodhya.
After thinking hard about what I can do, imagine what is done when they are in power. Just imagine. Because today the voters haven't given you power. You feel, what can we do? We can only do on a fast. But when the voters gave you power, understand what has been happening in our country. What has been happening in our country? That I leave it to your imagination, or I leave it to your knowledge, because all of you are aware of what all has happened in the name of secularism in this country. All of you are aware. That is why the RWA failed. And he issued a notice saying, you are doing a 3-day fast. Very good. You are saying that this is very wrong. It is okay. You feel sorrow for and love for a fellow Muslim. No problem. You can feel love for anybody, Muslim or Hindu. That is not a problem. But you having a problem with Pran Pratishtha, on that RWA has a view. It says it is our responsibility to see there is a cordial relation between all residents, and we do not appreciate a resident's rant which may disturb the peace in the colony or hurt religious sentiments of our residents. What Miss Aiyar said through social media was certainly unbecoming of an educated person who should have understood that the Ram Mandir was built after 500 years, and that too after a 5-0 Supreme Court verdict. You may take cover under freedom of speech. You may say it's a freedom of speech. But the RWA in this colony came from partition. All of you whose parents came from partition know what all happened in Pakistan. Know how entire wealth was left behind. Know how family members some of them could not survive and come here. and they have lived that pain. And they say in our colony to say all this is in a sense reliving of that pain, especially when Ram Mandir is being built. And you feel these things for Ram Mandir. Not only this, there are certain other aspects which need to be gone into. What has happened in the past, you must know, Mani Shankar Aiyar's another daughter is a CEO of an NGO called CPR. Now, this NGO is known for receiving massive amounts of money from foreign entities for purposes which are very dubious. I'm saying dubious, I'll explain later how they are not dubious. They are being, after a government investigation, found what can colloquially be called anti-national. So what has happened? The government changed the law on how NGOs receive foreign donation. It said we will tighten the norms. And I ask this question, all of you living abroad, outside India, there is homelessness, there is drug violence, there are zillion problems in these nations. So why are people from there not of Indian origin? See, a person of Indian origin sends money to build a hospital, school in his village, in his town, that I appreciate, that they have a love or respect for from the area from which they have come. But people who have nothing to do with India, a George Soros of this world, or somebody sitting in the Middle East, why would they be pumping in money? The government, in its investigations of other NGOs, of the system, ecosystem, found some are involved in conversion activities, some are involved in activities stalling the development infrastructure of India by creating protests on the road or by filing frivolous cases in order to delay up the infrastructure projects or developmental projects. So they tightened the norms on this foreign money and said, for example, you cannot spend more than 50% on administrative expenses. What are administrative expenses? Fat salaries. Dining, wining, champagne bills gone away as hospitality under administrative, or lunches or dinners. They reduced it. 80% could be spent on this. They reduced it to 50%. They said money which comes from a particular project will be only used for that. Because what happened, you would bring in money for school and then distribute it under various guises and heads. So those sort of changes were made. You have to open one bank account which the government can easily scrutinize, no matter which part of the country you are in. It's all electronic now, but one central nodal bank. So it's easy to keep a account of where the money is going. They challenged it in Supreme Court. Supreme Court upheld it, said there is no fundamental right to receive foreign money by NGO. If the government tomorrow decides no money to come from to NGOs, that's absolutely within the government's remit. The government has the power to decide how money will flow from outside to inside India, completely within the sovereign power of any elected government. So that happened. Then this NGO of Mani Shankar Aiyar's daughter was suspended. Recently, it's been cancelled. I think just a month ago, it was cancelled because they found it is involved in anti-India activities. It is involved in activities which are outside the license. It is involved in activities where they are stalling development. It is involved in activities of media which it doesn't have a license for. So various grounds it stands cancelled. Obviously, they can challenge it in court, that the courts decide. But as of now, that license stands cancelled. So that is also happening in the background. You must know that. While Ram Mandir is being built, certain other things are happening in the background. And that is why probably, I will just show you the last video of Miss Aiyar.
My love for my Mughal heritage. This is not only about feeling protective towards someone else.
My love for my Mughal heritage. While cases are going on, and this is in a specific context, this is not Mughals at large, which is a separate topic. I'll cover some other day what all Mughals did. This is in the specific context of Mandir. It has been proved, it has been argued, it has been a widely held belief based on documents, facts, that Mughals destroyed various temples. Aurangzeb destroyed various temples. These are all matter of history and record. Is that the heritage that's being referred here? What is the heritage that's been referred when it comes to Ram Mandir? That's a very clear thing. But anyways, that is why the society said, please apologize. And it addressed it to Mr. Mani Shankar Aiyar also, though I think that's very naive, and said either apologize or please leave the society. Please leave the society and go someplace else where people appreciate your views, where people are comfortable with your views. We want peace and harmony in our society. They are Bhagwa all over the place. I'm just giving you an example in Delhi, and people are loving it. So they are saying, please go someplace else if you want to. Now I will just address the legal aspects of it. Of course, society has no power. society, and because I'm a lawyer, I must address the legal point. I think it's more a moralistic objection. It is more an objection where they want to put it on record, like Miss Aiyar wanted to put her views on record. They wanted to put their views on record that what you are doing in the society is not good for the society, not good for the harmony of the society, and you should not do things like this. Legally, because a lot of people asked me, I made this video in Hindi. No, legally, the society cannot do this. If somebody has done something which they consider is an inappropriate speech, if it's violative of law in certain manner, obviously there are legal proceedings, or otherwise, sometimes speech is best answered with a speech. Speech is best answered with putting the facts on record, which I have sought to do in this case. And the society she lives in, the good opinion of her fellow citizens that she lives with is important to document and put on record. This is why I say India is changing. Civil society, which some intellectuals would claim to represent and speak anything they wanted to, is finally being countered by an ordinary citizen living in ground, living on colonies, living in various mohallas, as they say, who is also equally coming out, putting his view. And I feel it's the duty of people like us who have large platforms to present this view of the common citizen of the same area from where this rant has come. Bharat Mata ki Jai.